You're here because you're thinking about buying the Hubsan Zino 2 Plus, the drone that promises 4K video, a 9 km range, and 35 minutes of flight. But here's what surprised me. After months of testing, I found problems so significant I wouldn't recommend it to most pilots, even at its price. Therefore, this review is not a celebration, it's a caution. You need to see this before you spend your money. For the best price, click the link in the description. Let's start with the promises. The specs sound incredible. A 3-axis gimbal for smooth footage, 4K at 60 frames per second, a transmission range that's almost absurdly long, and a flight time that rivals more expensive drones. It even includes a set of ND filters for better photography. On paper, this looks like a mid-range champion, but specs are just a recipe. The meal can be a disaster if the cooking is bad, and cooking this drone is problematic. Why? The first major issue is the very thing that should be rock solid: GPS and return to home. This is a critical safety feature, but on the Zino 2 Plus it's unreliable. I experienced multiple instances where the drone's GPS location was inaccurate, causing it to return to a spot several meters away from its actual launch point. That's not a minor quirk. That's a potential crash or flyaway. One RTH test ended with the drone trying to land in a neighbor's garden. I had to manually intervene. It felt like the drone was using a tourist map from 1995. Not a joke, but it did make me wonder if its internal GPS was powered by a potato. Then there's the transmission. The claim is 9 km under ideal conditions. But in real-world use, even with minimal obstacles, signal stability is a gamble. The video feed on the app frequently stuttered and froze at distances far less than the maximum. You might get a beautiful, stable 4K recording on the drone itself, but your live view for framing shots can become a pixelated mess. Therefore, flying confidently at longer ranges is stressful. You're constantly waiting for a disconnect. It's like trying to have a deep conversation over a phone line that cuts out every 10 seconds. Now, the app and firmware. The XHUBS Yen 2 app is necessary for updates and many smart features. But it's often buggy. Updates can be confusing, and some users report failed updates that temporarily brick features. The interface isn't the most intuitive either. Waypoint flying, one of the coolest automated features, can be frustrating to set up. Combine that with the GPS issues mentioned earlier, and your automated flight path might become an unplanned adventure. It's a drone that occasionally seems to have its own artistic vision, which is not what you paid for. What about the camera? With 4K/60 FPS and a gimbal, the footage can indeed look good. But there's a significant but. The color science and dynamic range are subpar. In challenging light like a sunset, the image tends to overexpose highlights or muddy shadows. The included ND filters help control exposure, but they don't fix the sensor's limited color processing. Therefore, your stunning landscape might look flat and desaturated compared to footage from a DJI Mini 3, for example. It captures video, but it doesn't always capture beauty. It's the difference between a snapshot and a photograph. Battery life is another advertised hero, up to 35 minutes. But that's at a slow, 25 km/h cruise in perfect conditions. In normal flying with some maneuvering and wind, you'll get 22 to 26 minutes. That's still decent, but it's not the 35 you're hoping for, and the battery level indicator isn't always precise. A sudden drop from 30% to 15% can trigger an early, panicked return to home. It's like a friend saying the party ends at midnight, but suddenly turning off the music at 11. Then, the physical design and wind resistance. It claims 6-level wind resistance. It's reasonably stable in moderate wind, thanks to its size. But the gimbal can struggle to completely eliminate high-frequency jitters in gusty conditions. The footage can still show microshakes. And the body, while sturdy, has a plasticky feel. Some users report issues with landing gear sensors or motor arms after many flights. It's not built with the same rugged confidence as some competitors. It's a bit like a gym member who looks strong on the roster but cramps up during the actual game. Let's talk about the smart features. Follow me, orbit, panorama modes. They exist and they work sometimes. Follow me mode can be laggy and lose the subject if they move quickly behind an object. Orbit mode requires a good GPS lock, which we already know is a weak point. The panorama modes are neat, but the stitching in the app isn't flawless. You often get visible seams between photos. So, while the feature list is long and impressive on Amazon, the execution is often half-baked. It's a menu with 50 dishes, but many are just okay. You ordered the gourmet burger, but it came with a slightly stale bun. Why does this matter? Because with an Amazon rating of only 3.4 stars, these aren't just my isolated experiences. The top reviews consistently highlight GPS errors, app glitches, and inconsistent transmission. People praise the value when it works, but report frustrating failures. Therefore, this drone represents a risk. You might get a good unit, or you might get one that becomes a source of anxiety every time you fly. For a hobbyist, that stress ruins the fun. For a content creator, it ruins reliability. So, is there any resolution? Should anyone buy this? If you are a tinkerer, someone who enjoys troubleshooting and isn't afraid of occasional software headaches, and your budget is strictly limited, the Zino 2 Plus offers capable hardware at a lower price. But for the vast majority, for the pilot who wants to unpack, fly, and create without constant technical babysitting, this drone is not the answer. Therefore, my honest advice, look at alternatives. Consider the DJI Mini series for unmatched reliability, or even other brands in this price range that have more consistent software. The Zino 2 Plus feels like a prototype that was released as a final product. What's the final call? Don't buy the Hubsan Zino 2 Plus if you value peace of mind. Its potential is shackled by its problems. The curiosity loop is closed. The promise is grand, but the reality is gritty. You came here to know if it's worth it. For most, it's not. Therefore, save your money or invest it in something that won't make you question its loyalty every flight. For the best price on more reliable alternatives, check the link in the description. Thanks for watching this honest review. Fly safe.